All right, let's unpack this. Here's something that really jumped out at me. Despite all the talk about China's massive Singles' Day online sale, November 11th, maybe not having much room left to grow.
Yeah, the narrative was definitely shifting towards saturation.
Exactly. But the 2020 numbers actually soared, a surprising 39% increase compared to the previous year.
Yeah.
We're talking about like a staggering 372.3 billion yuan in sales just on Alibaba's Tmall. That's what, roughly 5.9 trillion yen?
Yeah.
Huge numbers.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how that contradicts the prevailing wisdom. For quite a while, the story was that Singles' Day, this huge engine for e-commerce, was reaching its peak. Factors like slowing growth in internet users across China.
Yeah.
It led many to believe that its explosive growth just couldn't continue. So yeah, a 39% increase definitely makes you reconsider those assumptions.
Absolutely. So for this deep dive, we're going to get into the details of why the 2020 Singles' Day sale completely shattered those expectations, achieved record-breaking growth. Our goal today, learner, is to give you a clear, insightful understanding of what really fueled China's biggest online shopping festival. We'll look at the strategies the e-commerce platforms use.
And the shifts in consumer behavior that happened alongside them.
Exactly.
And to really get a handle on what happened, we've pulled together some key resources. We'll be drawing insights from an analysis published by a Chinese tech journalist,
Okay.
a really comprehensive report from iResearch on consumer trust during that Double 11 period,
Trust, yeah, that's important.
and some interesting data from a Kantar report looking at consumer attitudes before Double 11, plus a sales analysis from Star Chart data.
Great.
So the mission is really to move beyond the headlines, understand the core dynamics behind this unexpected surge.
Right, so let's tackle this idea of peak Singles' Day head on. For a while, there was definitely a feeling maybe the sale had hit its limit. People pointed to that slower pace of new internet users coming online in China, and also those pretty significant return rates we were seeing.
That's important context. Those return rates, especially for things like clothing, could be over 30%.
Yeah.
And general merchandise wasn't far behind. They were definitely part of the conversation. There was this thought that, maybe consumers were buying impulsively and then just sending a load of it back.
But then you see Alibaba's Tmall posting that massive 39% sales increase just on November 11th itself. That really throws a curveball at the whole peak theory, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And this is where it gets really interesting. One of the biggest changes in 2020 was the length of the sale.
Ah, yes.
It wasn't just November 11th anymore. It was stretched out, running from November 1st all the way through to the 11th.
11 days.
That extended time frame seems to be a really critical piece of this puzzle.
Exactly. And one analysis we saw suggested that while the average amount each customer spent on November 11th actually went down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from about 536.8 yuan in 2019 down to 465.4 yuan in 2020. But the total sales over the entire 11-day period resulted in higher overall customer spending, around 622.8 yuan.
Okay, so spread the spending out.
Looks like it. So it seems like the strategic choice, lengthening the sale, was a major factor in boosting those overall numbers.
That shift suggests maybe moving away from that super intense single-day hype that can lead to impulse buys.
Could be.
By spreading it out, consumers maybe felt less pressure, had more time for, considered purchases, and ultimately spent more overall, even if the daily average dropped.
Yeah.
It kind of hints at a maturing online shopping behavior.
Okay, so if the amount people spent on the big day itself went down, but total sales went way up, it raises a big question, Radel. How do they pull off that kind of growth, especially when we know adding new users wasn't happening as fast for Alibaba anymore? We saw the cost of getting a new user had really climbed.
Yeah, dramatically.
From like 207 yuan per user back in early 2018 to a hefty 1158 yuan in Q3 2020.
That's a crucial point. When bringing in new shoppers gets more expensive and the rate slows, growth really has to come from your existing users. And in that context, Tmall's operations head, Liu Bo, made this pretty big claim, saying 800 million people took part in the 2020 sale.
800 million.
Yeah, supposedly 300 million more than the year before.
Which sounds like a massive jump, doesn't it? But even if you factor in Alibaba's total active consumers did grow, from 785 million to 881 million, that's about 11.7%.
Still doesn't quite explain 39% sales growth.
Exactly, especially with that decrease in single-day average spending.
You're absolutely right. If you just look at the increase in total active users, the numbers don't fully mesh with that huge sales growth. It strongly suggests that a big chunk of that growth likely came from increased activity, more spending from existing users over that longer sales period.
Rather than just a flood of brand new shoppers on the 11th.
Precisely.
One of our sources also mentioned Alibaba using data technology to get this record growth. The phrase was like squeezing a dry towel.
Ah, yeah, evocative.
It sounds super effective, but the specifics aren't really detailed in these reports. When they say data technology, what are we thinking? Like super personalized recommendations, or is it more behind the scenes stuff, inventory management?
It's a good question. Data technology here probably covers a whole range of sophisticated tools.
Right.
It could definitely involve highly refined algorithms for personalized product recommendations, targeted promos,
Yeah.
but also advanced systems for managing logistics, predicting demand, optimizing inventory.
Okay.
The basic idea is using data insights to just make everything about the shopping journey better and maximize sales from the users they already have. The reports don't give us the secret sauce, the exact algorithms, but the implication is strong. Alibaba was leveraging its data power big time.
So it's clear just offering discounts wasn't the whole story. We need to think about how consumers themselves were changing. We mentioned those high return rates, and it seems in China, it's often just seen as a normal part of shopping online, especially for clothes and shoes, where fit is tricky.
Yeah, it's almost like a shopping technique. Buy multiple sizes or colors, keep what works, send the rest back. Not necessarily dissatisfaction.
Right, and those Manjiangquan coupons, the spend over X amount, get a discount type.
Oh yeah, those definitely play a role.
They push shoppers to add more to their cart to
Yeah.
hit that discount threshold, right? Which then maybe leads to more returns of stuff they didn't really need in the first place.
Makes sense.
But it sounds like shoppers might have been getting a bit, I don't know, tired of these complex coupon systems.
Just fatigue setting in.
Yeah, a sense of fatigue with figuring out the best combo of discounts, and maybe a shift away from just buying because it's cheap towards more of a fear of missing out feeling. FOMO during this huge event.
That's a subtle but important psychological shift. That feeling of potential regret, missing out on a massive annual event like Singles Day, it can be a powerful motivator, even if the discounts themselves are getting harder to figure out.
And interestingly, the iResearch survey found that while about 41% of internet users plan to spend more in 2020 than 2019,
Okay, so a decent chunk.
yeah, but a pretty significant group, 46%, plan to spend the same or less.
Huh. So not everyone was planning to splash out more.
Right. Which also suggests that huge sales increase wasn't just driven by everyone suddenly having loads more cash to spend.
No, exactly. It underscores the complexity. Even with a large group holding back or spending the same, the overall sales still surged, which points to other factors, especially where and what people chose to buy.
Which brings us to this really critical point about trust and quality.
Yes.
The iResearch report really hammered this home. A change in what consumers prioritized most. Number one factor, authentic product guarantee.
Wow, number one.
And right behind it, number two, was platform reputation and trustworthiness.
This marks a significant evolution, doesn't it? As e-commerce matures, people are clearly valuing reliability more, making sure they're getting genuine stuff from platforms they trust. It shows growing sophistication in the market.
And the report also broke down how people see the different platforms. JD.com is generally seen as more trustworthy, more efficient.
Right, their logistics network helps there.
Taobao is seen as having the widest selection. Tmall, more focused on international brands. And Pinduoduo, more accessible, especially on price.
These distinct brand perceptions are key. JD's strengths in logistics, after-sales service, those value-added things, they clearly build that trust. And the data show their usage frequency grew faster than the average B2C platform.
And there's also this clear preference for the self-operated stores on these platforms.
Ah, interesting. Why is that?
Likely because consumers just see them as more reliable than maybe random third-party sellers. The report said a majority try to buy from self-operated stores when they can.
Absolutely. So consumers are making conscious choices based on what they value most for a particular purchase. Taobao for variety, JD and Tmall for quality assurance, Pinduoduo for lower prices. They've really carved out their niches.
Logistics speed and after-sales service definitely came up as really important. JD led in trust there.
Makes sense.
And overall, while people seemed pretty happy with the variety of goods and delivery speed, there's still room for improvement, apparently, across the board in product quality and after-sales service.
These areas of satisfaction and potential improvement offer valuable insights for the platforms, right? as they keep competing for loyalty and trying to make the whole experience better.
So even with some people planning to be cautious with spending, Double 11 was still clearly a massive event. Over half of users spent more than 1,000 yuan back in 2019.
And the expectation for 2020 was that over 40% would increase their spending, driven by more promotions, but also just being more comfortable shopping online, especially after, the pandemic accelerated that trend.
Top planned purchases. Daily necessities, clothes and shoes, home goods, pretty standard stuff.
Yep.
But predictably, some of the usual Double 11 headaches were still around. Slow logistics sometimes, prices that seemed maybe inflated before the discount, and those notoriously complicated promo rules.
Always the rules. What about value-added services? Anything new people wanted?
Yeah, interestingly, the most desired ones for 2020 were price guarantees, so you know you won't miss a better deal later, and free home installation for appliances.
Ah, so buying bigger ticket items online, like appliances, is becoming more common. The installation service makes that easier.
Exactly. It seems like that increasing trust in the platforms was a big deal for driving online purchases of essential goods, too. And, well, we can't talk about 2020 without really digging into live streaming.
Oh, absolutely. It truly emerged as a dominant force in e-commerce that year.
What's striking is how fast it became like a standard essential sales channel. Brands just jumped on it.
They really did. It was a way to connect more directly, showcase products in real time, interact immediately. It kind of lowered some of those traditional barriers to buying online.
We also saw this trend of consumption upgrades, people looking for more personalized, higher quality stuff.
Right.
Service-oriented consumption, health-related purchases getting more important, and also this real surge in national goods, or guochao.
The rise of domestic brands.
Yeah, consumers showing much more recognition and trust in Chinese brands. The survey data said something like 84% of consumers would prefer domestic products if other things were equal.
Which could be tied to, growing national pride, more confidence in local quality and innovation.
Definitely a big opportunity for those domestic brands.
Absolutely. This rise is a really significant development. It reflects growing confidence locally and presents a huge chance for these brands to grab market share, connect with that more patriotic consumer.
The Star Chart data report gave us some great numbers for the whole November 1st to 11th period. Overall, e-commerce sales up 29% year on year, big growth.
29% over the whole period.
But interestingly, the single day, November 11th itself, actually saw a 19% decrease in its year-on-year growth rate.
Which really hammers home that point about the extended sales period, driving the overall growth, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Spreading it out maybe eased logistics pressure and just encouraged a higher total spend over time.
And Trammell still dominated, holding a 59% market share over the whole 11 days.
Still the giant.
But the report also highlighted how live streaming platforms like Douyin and Kuaishou were getting really good at using different kinds of content to drive sales.
What's compelling there is how they blend entertainment and commerce so effectively. It's not just looking at product lists anymore. It's engaging content that can spark impulse buys, build stronger brand connections.
And who is doing the buying? Star Chart data pointed to small-town youth in lower-tier cities and urban white-collar workers in the big Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities.
Okay, key demographics.
And the motivation seemed to be this compensatory consumption after the early pandemic lockdowns, like making up for lost time, treating themselves.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
After periods of restriction, there's often this pent-up demand for discretionary spending. Big sales events like Double 11 are a perfect outlet for that.
They even broke down specific categories. Seasonings, soy sauce was huge, Haitian the top brand, convenience foods, instant noodles, rice noodles, self-heating meals were big.
Self-heating, yeah, those got popular.
Kangshifu, Zihaigua were leaders, but also those newer internet-famous brands like Ramen Talk showing up, especially on Tmall.
Interesting.
Snack foods, nuts and dried fruits led the way. Three Squirrels, Distore, Baikaway took a huge chunk of that market. Beverages, soda water, plant-based drinks, fizzy drinks popular. Vitasoy, Genki Forest, Coca-Cola topped the list.
It really paints a detailed picture, doesn't it? Evolving tastes and how these big sales events drive volume across so many different categories.
We also got a peek at advertising strategies from a WEIQ report. Ad spending during Double 11 was up overall.
Not surprising.
And the key areas for investment, short video and live streaming, makes perfect sense given everything else.
Absolutely. Advertisers clearly saw where the eyeballs and wallets were going during that peak season.
Weibo was still big for ads, but Douyin and Xiaohongshu showed a major growth potential, and advertisers seemed to like using mid-tier KOLs, key opinion leaders, influencers, basically.
Mid-tier.
seen as more cost-effective, maybe better reach sometimes than the megastars. Also, lots of new brands jumped into live streaming, and even brand owners themselves started hosting streams.
Getting hands-on.
Yeah, Perfect Diary was a big example. Huge sales via live streaming, even used AR/VR virtual hosts.
Wow, experimenting with tech too. This shift towards live streaming, using KOLs strategically, brand-led streams, it all points to a more direct, interactive way to connect and sell during these big events.
And finally, the Kantar pre-11 insights sort of confirmed the high enthusiasm. Over half planned bigger budgets, way more people budgeting over 5,000 yuan than before.
People were ready to spend.
And starting earlier, nearly 80% planned to buy during the pre-sale periods. That was a big jump from 2019.
Suggests consumers are getting more strategic, planning ahead.
Personal care, clothes still top categories, but more interest in health products too.
That reflects that broader wellness trend influencing buying. The early purchasing thing shows people are becoming savvier, grabbing early deals, maybe avoiding the peak day rush.
Taobao, JD, Tmall, still the top three platforms, but Pinduoduo was making gains in the bigger cities. And those other players like Meituan, Douyin, Kuaishou were getting involved too.
More competition.
Live streaming and short video were key info sources. Brand-led streams were most popular, but KOLs still influential. And for deals, people still liked simple price cuts best.
Straightforward discounts win.
Though younger shoppers were more open to those interactive promos, the increased competition just highlights how dynamic that Chinese e-commerce market is.
Yeah, the platform diversification, the competition, it underscores this constantly evolving landscape. Platforms have to keep adapting to win and keep customers.
So to wrap it up, it looks like the 2020 Singles Day in China really defied those earlier predictions of saturation.
Definitely.
It saw huge growth driven by that longer sales period, growing consumer trust in platforms, the massive impact of live streaming, and this focus on quality and value. The whole landscape feels more nuanced now. Shoppers are prioritizing authenticity more, and they're embracing these newer, more interactive ways to shop.
What's really fascinating is how these trends, the focus on trust, live engagement, the extended sales, they all point towards a maturing e-commerce market. It's evolving beyond just deep discounts, you know. It's about the whole experience the connection brands build.
Okay, so thinking about all these trends we've unpacked, what might the future of these huge online shopping events look like elsewhere, in other global markets?
That's come big question, isn't it?
Will we see this same focus on trust, live video, longer sales periods becoming standard practice everywhere? And how might our own shopping habits keep changing in this digital marketplace? It definitely feels like the 2020 Double 11 in China gave us a really interesting, maybe even insightful glimpse into what the future of retail could hold.